Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Manny B Investing MBI. And I think that since we talk about crypto and we talk about projects, and I'm starting to talk about pricing on these projects and DCAing and things like that, and a lot of people ask, I see a lot of people, especially with PBX. I see a lot of people in the Telegram saying, what's causing this? Why is this dropping? A lot of times the drops and change in the market has to do with the economics going on in America mostly. Of course, global economics impacts crypto and all markets, but a lot of this stuff is started with what America does and what Americans say, and the Americans that are in charge are saying. So I figure we should start covering some of this news that affects finance and affects the markets, which affects us. So Watcher Guru posted today that President Biden calls to double capital gains tax from 20% to 40%. Why make it 40? Why not just go with 60? Why not go to 80? Let's do this. Let's really push this envelope here. Let's do this. Let's take a look at the article here, and then we'll come back and we'll look at some tweets. So President Biden calls to double the capital gains tax. Joe Biden has proposed a set of new tax hikes on billionaires, corporations, and rich investors. So this stuff, it might not be like, a lot of people will read that headline and think, oh, he's talking about raising the capital gains tax on you and I. But it seems that might not be the case or intention of this, and not saying that this still can't have negative impact on the everyday person, because I really believe that this could. So they're saying here, billionaires and corporations and rich investors. So what I'm seeing is companies, billionaires, and millionaires. And people watching this, some of you might be millionaires. So this could affect you. Biden's budget requests reportedly call for a 25% minimum tax on billionaires. Additionally, he has suggested to double the capital gains tax rate from 20 to 39.6%. Let's continue reading. It looks like this is the original source of this is from Bloomberg, which is more than likely a paywall, so we're not even going to worry about it. We're going to read the details here. The proposal will officially be released on Thursday to the public, which I think is that tomorrow. Yep, it's now actually tomorrow. On Thursday. However, the aforementioned details were revealed by an unnamed White House official to Bloomberg. The White House has always got these officials leaking all this information. Given that the Republicans now control the House of Representatives, the said proposal has little chance of passing Congress. Okay, so understand that this is just him throwing things at the wall at this point, because Republicans control the House, and if it's something that they don't like, they're not going to support it, which means it can't go to the Senate and it can't be sent to the president's desk for his signature. So this is all kind of for nothing. And this is why I kind of like mixed governments, because it creates an environment where they can't just start ramming things through. It creates an environment where they kind of have to get along and play along. And we get to see if our government truly has our best interests at heart. If we're paying attention, of course. The Biden administration has been working towards reducing the deficit. The officials argue that the latest proposal shows a commitment to the same. They've projected that Biden's budgets would cut down $3 trillion via increased revenues over the next decade. And when they say increased revenues, it means taking money from us. The government does not operate a business. They operate a theft ring. They could cut through the increase in revenues over the next decade. In retrospect, it would render a popular return to tax levels in place before former President Donald Trump's tax reform legislation. And I believe Donald Trump's tax legislation really loosened the belt from around the neck of a lot of corporations, which then a lot of that trickled down to a lot of upper middle class people, bringing them up and creating a lot more millionaires, which I see as a good thing because, you know, it brought me and my family up. But a lot of folks, a lot of normies are against it because they're not included in that. Even if things trickle down in a way where it overall improves their life, whether it be, you know, cheaper gas prices, cheaper goods and services, more opportunities to get better paying, higher paying jobs. A lot of folks just don't see that as a good enough excuse or reason to give the top group of people, business owners, executives, big corporations, that kind of reduction in taxes. They would rather things be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more expensive to keep it fair. And I think that's kind of an emotional thing. But, you know, it is what it is. A lot of people just don't like when the government gives breaks to large corporations. It doesn't sit right with a majority of people, which kind of sit in the bottom at this point. With inflation as bad as it is, the economy as bad as it is, I would say a majority of the people are poor. I think that the middle class, the actual middle class, is shrinking. A lot of those are either sinking or swimming, and it's very unfortunate. But I see that as that's just the way things are. Things now with the inflation that's happening now in America, folks. Things as simple as a car, a new vehicle will become a luxury, and you will be choosing between buying a car and ever owning property or owning a home for yourself. And I truly see that as a reality in this country on this current path that we're on right now. So hopefully we can correct it. We can come together and correct this. Bloomberg reported the polls have time and again showed that taxes on the wealthy and large corporations are favored by a majority of Americans, like we just said. Nevertheless, the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy shot down Biden's plans to increase levies. He told reporters on Wednesday, "I do not believe raising taxes is the answer. I would much rather the government stop spending so much. Why do a terrible thing and then turn around and say, hey, you got to give me money to fix it? How about just stop doing the terrible thing? At least suspend it. At least stop doing it for a little while." According to the Biden's proposal, the richest 0.01% of Americans will have to pay a minimum of 25% tax. That's insane. Simultaneously, the top tax rate for Americans making $400,000 will also be increased to 39.6% from 37%. This would ultimately reverse one of Trump's tax cuts. However, the rate for ones making below the said threshold would remain unchanged. Furthermore, Biden's proposal calls for investors making at least $1 million to pay that 39.6% on their long-term investments. The same is currently taxed at 20%. Additionally, Biden has also put forward a corporate rate tax hike to 28% from 21%. I mean, regardless of who it's taxing, I don't like it because all that does for me, it shows me that if they'll do it to them, they'll do it to me, and they'll do it to you. I would much rather, instead of them looking for more money, I would much rather them go on a diet, them reflect and look at themselves and see what we're doing, what we're spending our money on, and do we need to do this? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. I have to budget. You probably have to budget. We budget. If we have to do it, I recall budgeting on minimum wage. If I have to make sure that I'm spending as little as possible, or at least less than what I'm making, why can't the federal government do the same thing? It's responsibility. The federal government needs responsibility, and they need to stop looking to American citizens, regardless of how much or little they make, in corporations, especially those corporations that are creating job opportunities for people and look within and show some discipline. So let me know what you think about my opinions on this whole thing. Is it a waste of time? Why is he doing this? Is he just trying to score political points? Because it just seems like polling tells him a lot of people, or a majority of people, not saying that they're right, not saying that they're wrong, but that's just the raw data, that they favor this stuff. Is he just trying to score points, knowing that it will never pass? What do you think? Get in the comment section. Let me know. Hit that like, hit the share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.